The simpler, the better. Getting happier doesn't have to be complicated. And in fact, if you want to truly increase your happiness, the less complicated you make it, the more likely it is that you're going to A, do it, B, keep doing it, and C, with that consistency, it's going to make the impact that you're hoping for it to make in the first place, which is to get happier. So I want to talk to you today about 7 little things that you can do that are not going to take any more than 5 minutes a day. Now, you don't have to do all of them. If you go away from this talk and just implement one of them, you are going to notice a shift in how you are feeling. You are also going to notice that when you fulfill these commitments to yourself, when you fulfill the commitment to do one thing differently and to keep consistent with it, your relationship with yourself is going to improve. You're going to feel better about yourself because you made a commitment and you followed through on it. And following through on our commitments to ourselves matters. So we want to set ourselves up for success by doing things that are doable, that are repeatable, that are sustainable, which means starting small. It's not go big or go home. It's go small to moderate and make it doable, repeatable, and sustainable. So I'm going to teach these ones to you. These are some of my favorites, and see where you're at. Let me know if you're already doing some of them, and if not, let me know which one you're going to start with. Let's get into these in just a minute. If you're new here, welcome to our incredible little corner on the internet. Take a second, introduce yourself in the comment section below. If you are back again, it is always good to have you. Special shout out to my shifters who are here and learning and taking on the extra in addition to the deeper, more intentional, supported work that you are doing in the Shift Society. Make sure you say hello in the comments. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, the button's about right down there. If you get something out of the video, if you could like it, that would be amazing. Either way, my name is Kristina, and I am a registered clinical therapist, a researcher, a coach, and the creator of my membership community where humans just like you are taking this work to a deeper level and getting guided and supported and held accountable the whole way through. You can get more information about the Shift Society in the description below and get on the wait list for when we open up registration again. I help heart-centered humans break through the crap that is holding them back so that they can like themselves and their lives more every day. And this talk today is less about breaking through the crap and more about creating good for ourselves. Because human beings like things that are good. Funny how we like to do things that feel good. We like to feel good. We like to create things and that feels good. We like to invest ourselves in things and that feels good. And taking things one little chunk at a time, doing one small thing at a time is the most effective and sustainable way to create positive change for yourself in your life. Everything that I talk about today is backed by research. All of these methods are proven to give people a boost in their happiness, and when done consistently, will increase their overall happiness. So let's get right into these. The first thing, and kind of obvious when we talk about things that only take 5 minutes, and each of these you only need to invest 5 minutes a day in, taking 5 minutes to tackle the thing that you've been avoiding. If it's writing the proposal, if it's getting your resume in order, if it's applying for a job, if it's starting a book, if it's finishing a project, if it's following through on that thing that you said you were going to do, if it's cleaning out your inbox, whatever it is that's been hanging over your head, kind of like in the back of your head, and you keep avoiding it and putting it off because you think it's going to take up so much time. And you're like, I just need this huge chunk of time to invest in it. And so you have avoided it so much for so long that if you had just let yourself do a little bit at a time, instead of this perfectionist mindset that all has to happen at once, you would probably be done by now, or at least have some really good headway into it. So by this time in a week or a month or a few months, whatever the time frame is, by that time, if you start now, then you will be in that place where you are able to say, because I did a little bit at a time, I was able to reach that goal, to complete that thing, to make some really good headway. So in a few months, you can be saying that to yourself instead of, again, being in the place where you're like, I'm still in the same place because I keep avoiding it. So set the timer, 5 minutes. You might be like, 5 minutes is nothing. It doesn't count. If you do 5 minutes a day for an entire week, that is 35 minutes. And you can actually make a lot of progress if you have 5-minute chunks of focus, no distractions, nothing else going on, 5 minutes of focus in 7 days. That's 35 minutes of uninterrupted progress. And that actually counts a lot. So what might seem like nothing is something when you do it a little bit at a time. So whatever that is, and I want to know in the comments below, what is the thing? We all have it. What is the thing that's been hanging over your head that you keep telling yourself you're going to get to, but you're not, because you've told yourself it's going to take forever, and you don't have forever. You don't have endless hours in the day to get it done. And so you're just waiting until you do, which is obviously not happening. Let me know in the comments section below. The next one is to clean for 5 minutes. Now, I'm not saying that your entire house has to be spick and span and your floor has to be clean enough to eat off of it. If that's not your thing, then that doesn't have to be your thing. I'm not trying to make you kind of turn into a clean freak so that you're anxious about making sure everything is perfectly cleansed and in order. No. But if you tend to live in clutter, if you tend to have, disorganization and things are kind of a mess around you, research does show that does contribute to anxiety and overwhelm in our brains. Human beings, we like order. Human brains like order, and they like things to be beautiful. We are humans. We love beauty. And part of beauty often includes order in some way. So if you've noticed you've been feeling overwhelmed, if you look around your space and you're like, it's kind of such a mess, but it's so much, I can't do it. Or, like I'm overwhelmed with this mess, but I'm not going to bother because maybe it's not that big of a deal, but you kind of know it is a big deal, then spend 5 minutes. One area, one corner, one shelf, one cabinet, one closet. Just spend 5 minutes in there. Set the timer and allow that to be good enough. The other night, I think it was probably way too late at night to be doing this, but I had this urge to get my closet organized because I have a really small closet in my place. I am now one of those people who turns over their wardrobe. So the weather's gotten a lot hotter, probably don't need a whole lot of winter sweaters and long-sleeved, longer dresses for the next few months. And I have my pile of summer clothes ready to go. And so I think it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. My brain, has it ever happened to you where you just sort of get into like go mode at really awkward times of day? But I had the time. And so I think I only spent about 15 minutes. I mean, you can do 5, but my brain was ready for 15. And so I just pulled out some sweaters, pulled out some dresses, folded them up, stick them in the pile, ready to go up to the attic to put into the winter box. I didn't even put them in there. I just stacked them up and I'm like, all right, the next time I take a few minutes to organize, the next day when I spend a few minutes, I will take them up, put them in that box. But I created space for my shorts and my summer dresses, hung them up. It really didn't take any time. And now that is done. So let yourself just do a little bit. Cleanliness, organization, to a certain extent, is regulating and calming for our human brains. The next one, move. Not like move to another house. That's going to take a little more than 5 minutes if that's what you need to do. But move your body for 5 minutes. It might seem like nothing. And you're like, Julia, there's no point. But again, if you keep putting off that movement part of your well-being to when you have, 45 minutes a day, 7 days a week to do a HIIT workout, and you're like, I don't have the time for that, so I'll start tomorrow. And tomorrow has been tomorrow for the last 2 months or 2 years. Let yourself do 5 minutes. Put on your favorite pump me up song. Stick on your favorite YouTube video with your favorite artist. Dance along. Whatever it is, get out, walk around the block, jump up and down. Like seriously, if you're going to jump up and down for 5 minutes, you are going to get your heart rate going. You are going to get your sweat on. It is going to be an intensive 5-minute workout. It counts. It matters. It gets the blood flowing. It gets that serotonin going. It feels good. It's good for you. There is no downside if you are able to move for 5 minutes. It's amazing. The more research I read, the more and more articles, more studies, more experiments are being done around the importance of movement for human mental and emotional thriving. It is not extra. It is an essential. It doesn't have to be big. It has to be consistent. And that is what matters. You are going to notice it so much, to the point now where I cannot. Not for everyone. Some people are like, oh yeah, I work out, 3 days a week, 3 to 5 days a week. For health reasons, physical health reasons, 3 to 5 days is enough. For my mental health, I need to move my body, break a sweat, heavy breathe. For me, it's, now this is a lot. Don't take this on if that's not where you're at. But for me, I've worked myself up to this, is psychologically and physically about 40 minutes a day. And that's just what I do. Go for a walk, go for a run, do a workout in my living room, whatever that looks like. Go for a rollerblade, go for a hike. I just integrate that movement into my body because I feel so different when I do versus when I don't. And I just don't, I don't not anymore, because when I have kind of not done it, I notice a big difference in how I feel. I feel kind of like just a little bit of anxiety that creeps in, and my body feels kind of just antsy, and I just feel a little bit unsettled. And as interesting as it is, getting your heart rate up and getting moving is very grounding. So let yourself do 5 minutes. It absolutely counts and it matters. The next one is learn something every day for just 5 minutes. If it's reading a book, if it's studying an atlas, if it's listening to a podcast, if it's listening to an audiobook. Human brains do well when they are expanding. And the way they expand is to learn something new. Human brains thrive when we are in growth, not in constant sort of fast-moving, intensive growth all the time. We need time for rest. We need time to ground. We need time to regroup. But human brains thrive in a climate of growth. And if you want to grow, you have to stretch. You have to learn. You have to be investing yourself into something new and novel. And our human brains love that. And it's good for our well-being to feel like some lights are going on and things are coming together and concepts are being understood and new ideas are being absorbed. This one is a no-brainer for me. As you can probably tell, I love learning about a lot of things, specifically, no surprise, human psychology, human behavior, the human brain, how to create human thriving and wellness and healing and growth. I love that stuff. And it will never get old, and there will never be enough to satiate my craving for it. So just find something, 5 minutes. Pick up a book for 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be, investing yourself in 3 hours every single day in order to make a difference. Just 5 minutes. It counts. The next one is 5 minutes of meditation. You knew it was coming. You probably have been waiting for it. You probably already predicted that this one was going to be on the list, but just 5 minutes of meditation. If it's just 5 minutes of sitting still and becoming one with your breath and just being centered and grounded, sitting outside in the breeze, which would be perfect on a day like today. It's warm, it's summery, and there's a beautiful breeze coming in. And after this, I'm going to go and sit in a park for a few minutes near a tree and listen to the leaves rustle in the breeze, because it is grounding, it is calming, being present, being in our senses, because so often we're in our thoughts about the future, about the past, here and there and everywhere, and so seldom are we in the present, connecting to what is happening now in our five senses. So taking time for that. If you need some help with it, I have a guided mindfulness exercise for you. It is a good one. I get messages from people often who say, I listen to this one every single day, and I have for the past year, and I love it. It's my favorite, and it's made such a difference in not only feeling grounded in that moment, but I notice I'm feeling more calm and grounded overall. It's not magic. It's neurobiology. And that is what mindfulness and meditation does for our brains. So you can grab that one. This one is actually 10 minutes. So if you're like, I'm only doing the 5-minute thing, Julia, you said 5 minutes, set a timer, do the first 5 minutes of the meditation, and then stop. You will still get a ton out of it. And then you can do the second half of it the next day, or just do the first 5 minutes continuously, whatever it is that works for you. It doesn't matter what works for you, as long as it works for you. The next one is, I think we're at number 6 right now, is to plan your day the night before. This really helps for those of you who struggle with falling asleep at night, because you're trying to remember everything you do the next day. You feel overwhelmed. You've got so much going on and you don't know what to focus on. You don't know what to prioritize. So spend 5 minutes the night before and just make a list of your top 3 priorities, the top main things that you are going to focus on the next day. I do this every night. I make my list. Here's my little Post-it note. I make my list, and on the top of it, I have the main non-negotiable things that I need to get done that day. And then I kind of have a running kind of list of other things that I will get to when I have a few minutes. And I usually get a couple of those ticked off my list every day. Not all of them, and that's not the point. They're just things that I want to kind of make sure that I'm working towards, that I'm going to do, that are, there. And I know that I need to do them at some point, but they're not urgent. But they are important. There's just no timeline on them. So making that list the night before, what are your priorities? It sounds so simple, but it will clear your brain and it will allow you to feel more calm. And then you're not sitting and spinning as much at night trying to plan, prepare, prioritize for the next day, because you've already done it the night before. It is an incredibly useful 5-minute ritual. So much so that for me now, I have to do it every night. And I do it, and then I feel like, okay, I've got my list, I've got that clarity, I know what's happening, and now I can turn off for the rest of the evening, the rest of the night, whatever that is, because I've got that clarity. And with feeling more calm, feeling more clear, feeling more centered is a huge contributor to our overall happiness and well-being, and it takes a minimal amount of time. And then another one we have here is, this one is a powerful one, and this is going to invite you to go deeper. But again, you only need to do it for 5 minutes, but it's going to have a huge impact. Spend 5 minutes a day connecting with your future self. Not in some kind of like woo-woo, like future or what's it called again? Fortune-telling kind of way. But more of just like, what are you working towards? What's important to you? How do you want to be thinking? How do you want to be feeling? How do you want to be showing up? What are your goals? What do you have in your future that you are looking towards, that you are working towards, that you are hoping towards? And that you in your future as that person who is that, who has that, who does that, who is disciplined like that, who has habits like that, who is working towards that, who is acting and being that in their lives. How does she, he, or they feel? What thoughts go through their heads? What actions are they taking? What are they doing with their life, and how did they get there? So really just connecting with that version of yourself, that you who has taken the action, done the things, done the healing, done the growth, learned the stuff, moved up in the company, honed the skills. What is that person doing? And how does it feel to connect with that point B person? So you're at point A, you are working towards a point B. There's not just one point B in our lives, but you're working towards a point B. And if you were to connect with that point B person, how can you connect deeply with that person? And then reverse engineering and asking yourself, as I connect with this point B person, what did that point B person do in the past? So as my present self now, which is my past self of my point B self, what did that person do? What actions did they take? What steps did they make? What intentions did they set and follow through on? What did they think? How did they feel? And really just connecting with that in this moment now. Spending 5 minutes. I have something that's going to walk you through exactly how to do this. It's called your intentional self journal. As you work on being more intentional with your time, with your actions, with your goals, with whatever it is that's important to you, with your healing, with your growth, whatever that is, get that. It's completely free. Just click the link in the description. It's the Intentional Self Journal. And you can start working on it and connecting with the concepts in there. It's going to walk you through exactly how to do that. Again, grab the 10-minute guided mindfulness exercise. That is completely free as well, and start doing that. And now I want to know, which one of these are you going to start practicing, investing in today? I also want to know, which one of these do you already do? Which one of them are you like, yeah, I've already got that one in the bag. It's happening regularly, consistently. I feel good about it. And let us give you a high five for that. And by telling us, so we can actually know what's going on, so we can give you a high five for that. And then also, what's the next one? What's the one thing that you're going to do? Spend 5 minutes on, knowing that all of these count, they matter, and they make us feel, think, and live better. Always good to have you here. Don't forget to be good to yourself. Be good to those around you. And if you got something out of this, if you could like the video, that would be amazing. Until next time, take good care.